Hello everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create another progress tracker in Google Sheets. So in my last video, I showed you how to create this donut chart with percentage progress tracker. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave a link to it in the description box below. Go ahead and check it out. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on these two areas right here. These are Sparklines that work like progress bars. So if you have a simple task list like this, every time you check a box, or in this case, unchecking the boxes, you should be able to track your progress. So that's what this is. This is a simple Sparkline formula that only has one color. So if I check these boxes all the way to the end, all right, it's the same color. But the second one right here has 4 colors embedded in it. I'm going to uncheck these so I can show you what that looks like. So now it's 0, nothing shows up. When I check the first box, it's red, all right? And as I continue to check the boxes, it changes color. So now because we are at greater than 25%, the color changes to orange. And as I keep checking boxes, it changes again because the cutoff for the yellow color is at 50%. And now we're moving on to the last cutoff, which is 75%, and it changes to green. So if you want to learn how to create the simple Sparkline formula with one color, or the one with 4 colors, I'll show you how to do that from scratch in today's tutorial. All right, so I just cleaned it up by removing the excess rows and columns, and then I like to resize it to either 25 or 30, and then I always like to do a border around both. And again, this just makes the design space a little bit cleaner. Here's going to be where the table is going to go. We'll have our task here and the checkbox. So let's do the task area first. So these two would be for the task, which is going to widen them. So increase the width. Let's do 300. And here is going to be for the checkbox. So 30 for them. And this is the space in between. So I'm just going to do 30 as well. So we have our tables here. Here's where the table is going to go. All right, so here's the first table. I'm just going to copy and paste it here and just use a different color for this one. All right, so for this one, we're going to do a single color Sparkline, and this is going to be the multicolor Sparkline. Here's where the progress bar is going to go. So I'll select these two areas so I can put distinct borders around them. And I think I'm going to make this wider because we're going to have percentages showing there, and I want to have enough space for that. All right, so we have our tables. We've added in some placeholders. Now let's add our checkboxes. I'm selecting both of them, just this area. To insert the checkbox, go to Insert, Checkbox, and go to View and remove the grid lines since we're done with the general structure. So we need 2 formulas. The first formula is the Sparkline formula, and this is what's going to allow the progress bar to grow every time we cross this off. Okay, and then the second formula is going to calculate the percentage of checkboxes we have checked off here. Let's go back here and let's take a look at the first formula. Here's what the formula looks like. The first part of the formula is looking at the checkboxes. It's looking to see if, so it's counting if this checkbox is true, meaning if it's checked off. All right, but it's also going to take into consideration if there's a task in here, because you don't want to count a checkbox that doesn't have a task. If every single row in your task table will always have a task, then you don't need this condition. But the reality is the number of tasks would vary, and it's better to have this check so that your percentages and your progress bars are correct. So that's what this part of the formula is doing. This part of the formula is showing you the color. This color green is the reason why the progress bar is green. You can change this and I'll show you how to do so. So here's the formula. You can pause the video and copy the formula, which is what I'm going to do. So I'll paste the formula and I'll make some changes. The first range we're going to need to change right here is the range that has the checkbox. Instead of F4 to F23, we're going to change it to C4 to C23. All right, so you can see already it's selecting that area, which is correct. The next thing we need to change is the second range, which is in this case, B4 to B23. So change E to B. We also need to change it here. So do it one more time. Change it from E to B and hit enter. Let's test it out. Once we check it, you can see that it grows. Let's check the rest of them quickly by selecting everything and hitting spacebar. And this is at 100% because this is the end of the range. The next thing we're going to do is add the second formula here. Here's the second formula. It's a count if formula because it's going to look at this range to see if the checkboxes are checked, which is if it's true. It's also going to take a look at the task range to make sure there's a task because we don't want to count checkboxes when we don't have a task. That's why this extra condition is here. And then we're going to divide this by the count of the number of tasks here because we need a percentage. So that's all this formula is doing. So we're going to copy it again, paste it right here, and of course, make the changes we made before. So instead of column F, we're using column C, and instead of E, it's going to be column B. So we need to change this to percent. Go all the way up here, click on Format as Percentage. It's going to show the percentage with a bunch of zeros. Adjust the decimal places by clicking on Decrease Decimal Place. until it shows up as 100. If you want one decimal place, you can do so as well. Just make this a little bit wider so you can see the extra decimal place. Let's test it out just to make sure it works. So as we check this, you can see that it grows or decreases in this case, and it corresponds to the percentage. Let's add a border around this so it's clear when it reaches the end. If I check all of them, this is full and this is at 100%. I'm going to uncheck 10 checkboxes. And you can see this is about halfway there and this is at 50%. So it works the way it's supposed to. Next, we'll work on the multicolor Sparkline progress bar. So here's what the formula looks like. It's the exact same formula. The only difference is that we're adding additional conditions. All right. So we still have our count if. We're counting column I, which has the checkboxes. We want to know if it's true. And we're making sure that column H, which has the number of tasks, is not empty. That's what this is. But then we're going to break the formula into 4 parts. We're going to apply a different color based on the percentage of checkboxes. If the percentage of checkboxes is less than 0.25, it's red. Less than 0.5 is orange. Less than 0.75, it's yellow. And greater than 0.75, it's green. It's the same formula broken down into 4 parts. So go ahead and pause the video and copy the formula. We're going to paste it here. Let's add some border around this so it's easier to see the end of the progress bar and make this wider. So we're pasting the formula here. Of course, we're going to need to make a lot of changes. The first is for the location of the checkbox. We're going to need to change it from I to F. All right. So anywhere we have I4 to I23, we're going to need to switch that to F4 to F23. So do that first. And to save time, I'm going to copy this and just paste it over the other ranges with I4 to I23. All right, so that part is done. Next is the range H4 to 23. We need to change that to E4 to E23. All right, and then we'll copy this range. And anywhere we have H4 to H23, we'll replace it with E4 to E23. Just make sure you're only replacing the range. Don't touch any of the symbols like the comma or a parentheses. Select that range and paste over it. So now that we've done everything, those lines that we had before disappears because it's recognizing these ranges in this sheet. Let's hit enter and test it out. So nothing shows up here. When we check, it turns red. Before we continue, I want to add a percentage because I want to be able to track the color with the percentage. Copy this and paste it here. All right. And when we double click, you see it has the correct range here because it auto adjusts itself. All right. So that part is done. Now let's go ahead and test the progress bar. So as we click, you can see 5, 10%. Those are less than 25%. So it's following the rule of less than 25%. All right. So let's keep going. And then once we hit 25%, now it changes to orange. And then orange goes all the way to 50%. As we hit 50%, there is an error. So there might be a problem with the formula. So I'll go back here and copy the formula one more time. Okay, so now just make the changes that we need. Just go carefully and change each of them to what it's supposed to be. Hit enter and test it out. All right, so 55%, 60, 65, 70%. So it should change when I check off task number 15, which it does because at 75% and above, it's assigned to green color. So all the way to 100, it's the green color. All right, the last thing I want to do is show you how to change the color. These colors right here you can type whatever color you want here. For example, if I want to change it from green to blue, I can just type blue here, hit enter, and now it's blue. But if you want to type a very specific color, so I can replace the color here with an X code. Here's the colors X code. Grab the colors X code with or without the hashtag, doesn't matter. So I'm going to copy this and go here, replace blue with the X code that we just copied. Hit enter. Now it's replaced with this color. Let's do one more. I'll grab this colors X code. All right. And I want to change the next level here from yellow to this color. Make sure you maintain it within the quotation marks. All right. So you still have the quotation mark here before and after the X code. Hit enter. All right. So at less than 75%, the new color shows up. All right, so that's how it is done. I will have this template in my Patreon. You don't have to be a paid member, and I'll leave a link to my Patreon so you can go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.